medical case branching scenarios, or whatever your subject is, branching scenarios for any case. Creating medical case branching scenarios in H5P can be easy, it can be difficult, and it can be really difficult. In this video, I'll guide you through all three. We'll tackle the easy parts, navigate the difficult bits, and most importantly, crack the code on the really difficult stuff. The easy part. The easy part is mechanical. Click here, type there, save over there. If you've ever made a basic PowerPoint presentation, you'll breeze through this. Part 1 of the video will cover these fundamental, quick, simple and painless. The difficult part. Now, here's where people get stuck. It's easy to create a branching scenario that turns into a confusing maze of rabbit holes for both you and your students. In part 2, we'll show you exactly how to prevent that, how to design clear, purposeful scenarios without getting lost along the way. And then the really difficult part. But here's what trips up even seasoned learning designers. Going beyond engagement. It's not enough for students to call your activity fun or interactive. I'll show you how to interweave reflection and knowledge construction, making your scenarios educationally powerful, not just entertaining. This is part 3, how to build what I call guided reflection patterns, designed to harness that precise moment after a decision, when the learner's brain is neurochemically primed to learn. Think of it as brain chemistry, not brainwashing. Medical examples with caution. We'll use medical case examples to demonstrate guided reflection patterns within H5P branching scenarios. Important. These examples are not intended for clinical decision making. They are simplified teaching cases to illustrate learning design. The same principles apply in business, leadership, healthcare, or any field where learners must interpret facts, weigh options, and make decisions. First, the easy part. There's 4 things you must know to get started. First, you need a place to create your H5P branching scenarios. Have you got your own site? Make sure the H5P plugin is installed and switched on. This is my Moodle site, my WordPress site, and my Lumi desktop editor, all loaded with H5P and ready to go. No site? No problem. Test drive H5P at h5p.org or grab the free Lumi app. This video shows you how to install it and get going. Second, master the canvas. If you are totally new to H5P, remember to look at these tutorials that come with each H5P interactive video. Now you are ready to master the canvas. Branching scenarios are built right here on this canvas. Zoom out to see more. Expand the canvas by dragging it around like this. This step alone will save you hours of frustration. Third, understand how branching works. Every branching scenario needs a title, some content, and branching logic. The branching logic comes from branching questions, sometimes also called dilemmas, a point where the actor in the scenario faces a decision point, each with alternatives that control what happens next. And what can happen next is you can show new content, you can ask a question, you can jump back to earlier content, or you can end the scenario with feedback. Simple clicks, backed by deliberate design, grounded in learning science and aimed at better decisions. Fourth, check your flow. To see the big picture, use these icons to trace where each choice leads. And that's it. The easy part is done. We've covered the pure mechanics of creating an H5P branching scenario. If you want more technical details, there's a solid intro video at h5p.org. Or simply click this help icon right here. But to truly master the easy part, start small. Build a single scenario. For instance, imagine Christopher Columbus deciding whether to sail east or west to reach India. One branching point, two options, you're on your way. Planning your branching scenarios. Now we move on to the difficult part. There are two key challenges here. The first is planning and structure. Branching scenarios can easily spiral out of control, leading to rabbit holes or even endless loops with no clear outcome. That's why it's essential to plan your scenario before building it. I recommend using a planning document like this to map out the structure and keep it under control. Why planning matters. The math problem. Here's why planning is non-negotiable. Let's say your scenario has 4 dilemmas, and each dilemma offers 4 decisions. That's 4 to the power of 4. 256 possible paths. Without proper planning, your scenario balloons into unmanageable complexity. That's why experienced designers use bottlenecks, points where different paths merge back into a single decision point. Bottlenecks keep scenarios purposeful and avoid exhausting both the creator and the learner. The second challenge is meaningful feedback. The second difficulty is feedback design. Every feedback point is a teaching moment, an opportunity to correct misconceptions and guide reflection. Good feedback isn't just right or wrong, it's targeted, it's clear, and it's crafted to tackle common misunderstandings. Effective branching scenarios don't just guide choices, they teach through feedback. This aspect of the H5P development environment may be a bit confusing to first-time users because the feedback that I specified in this dilemma is actually given before the jump to another branch. The way it is laid out here may make you think that feedback will come after the jump. In fact, you can't give feedback unless there's going to be a jump. From engaging to transformational learning. So far we've covered the easy and the difficult part. Easy, building the branching scenario mechanics. Difficult, designing for clear outcomes. If you master these, your students will interact smoothly, likely saying things like engaging and enjoyable or easy to complete. But that's not enough. The really difficult part is designing your scenario so that learners construct their own knowledge through deep reflection on the subject matter. That's where guided reflection patterns come in. This isn't something that's built into H5P. It's not a button or a feature. It's a design approach you must create. In this section, I'll show you examples of guided reflection patterns. The examples are medical, but this approach works equally well in law, management, or any subject where decisions are made based on knowledge and judgment. Before we dive into the examples, a quick note. If you'd like to go deeper, I've created a Udemy course focused on H5P projects in leadership development. These medical examples and many others are featured there as well. I'm building a growing library of guided reflection patterns applicable to different fields. You'll find a discount coupon in the description below. Before using it, I recommend previewing the course. And remember, Udemy offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so your enrollment is risk-free. Back to guided reflection patterns. Let's come back to our key questions. What are guided reflection patterns? Why do they matter? And how can they transform a basic branching scenario into a powerful learning experience? Let's dive in. What are guided reflection patterns? Guided reflection patterns are systematic ways to build reflection and knowledge construction directly into your interactive content. At their core, they insert a deliberate, cognitively rich reflection phase between a learner's initial decision and any corrective feedback. This reflection can take many forms depending on your goal, whether that is clarifying misconceptions, reinforcing diagnostic knowledge, deepening conceptual understanding, or building metacognitive awareness. Here's an example from the chest pain case, which you can view and download as a template in my free mini Moodle companion course linked below. The pattern flows like this: introduce the case, offer options to the learner makes a choice, explain the learner's choice to her, give a second opportunity to choose after reflection, and then reveal the final outcome. As you can see from this example, a guided reflection pattern doesn't just test knowledge, it creates a learning loop: action, reflection, reattempt, and then informed outcome. This simple structure shifts learning from guesswork to meaning making, helping learners internalize concepts through reflection and choice. Now that you've seen what guided reflection patterns are, let's explore why they matter and how they improve learning outcomes. Why do guided reflection patterns matter? Interactivity alone isn't enough. Students enjoy it, but are they really learning? Without guidance, engagement can quickly become superficial, just clicking through. Guided reflection patterns turn interaction into reflection, choices into insight, and clicks into meaningful learning. This is where H5P Branching Scenarios can move beyond fun and become a real tool for deep learning. But that depends on you, the designer of the next branching scenario. How do we transform a basic branching scenario into a powerful learning experience? Now that we know what guided reflection patterns are, the next step is simple. We build them into the branching scenario. This is where the ingenuity of the instructional designer and the expertise of the subject matter expert come together. In the chest pain and gallbladder examples, I inserted a brief reflection point, an extra piece of content between the first and the second branching questions. This reflective content can take many forms: a simple text screen, a quiz covering, for example, ultrasound content, a short video clip, even an interactive video explaining key diagnostic procedures. There is no single correct answer for what the content should be. The key is when it happens, and it should happen right after the learner makes an initial decision. Decisions create tension, and with that, a neurochemical readiness to learn. Yes, your H5P branching scenarios releases neurochemicals. By intervening during this moment of doubt, we prompt learners to pause, reflect, and reorganize their thinking. The reflection point doesn't reveal the right answer, but it sharpens judgment. By the decision point, or the next real-life scenario, learners engage with greater confidence and more accurate reasoning, because knowledge has been actively constructed during reflection. Why does this work? It's neurochemistry in action. It comes down to 4 key neurochemical principles. 1. Dopamine flags importance, not just reward. Dopamine spikes whenever the brain detects importance, driving attention after decisions, whether the outcome is good or bad. Stress boosts learning. Mild, controlled stress, like decision points, enhances focus and retention through the adrenaline-noradrenaline system. 3. Closure locks it in. Aha moments trigger a second dopamine spike, consolidating learning and strengthening memory pathways. Guided reflection patterns create learning cycles. Every GRP runs a dopamine attention action loop: decision, reflection, outcome learning. This cycle rewires thinking for the real world. Summary: building branching scenarios with impact. Step 1. Master the mechanics. Learn how to build branching scenarios in H5P, the clicks, the flows, the basic structure. Step 2. Design with purpose. Plan carefully to avoid confusing labyrinths. Use bottlenecks to streamline choices and manage complexity. Step 3. Use feedback as a teaching tool. Feedback is more than just right or wrong. It's an opportunity to challenge misconceptions and guide thinking. Step 4. Elevate with guided reflection patterns. Insert reflection points after decisions. Let learners pause, reflect, and re-engage with greater insight. Branching scenarios can do more than engage learners. They can transform learning by promoting reflection, reasoning, and confident decision making. And that depends on you, the designer.